Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and today I'm gonna show you 25 incredible hidden details from the first 45 minutes of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's right, this is part 1 of a 3-parts video. I've decided to split the movie, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes, into 3 parts. This way, I not only get to explain each detail, but it allows me to put the videos out quicker. And also, I don't want to make a giant 40 or 50 minutes video, which is almost as long as the movie itself. I want to keep everything on point. So if you ever want to share this video with your friends, you will know the moment you're searching for. So without wasting any of your time, let's begin. Number 1. Right at the beginning of this movie, both the writers aka Phil Lord and Christopher Miller appear in the intro. They both have their very own production company by the name Lord Miller, and this is the logo that we see here. Number 2. The movie opens with Gwen Stacy playing drums with her band Inner Universe. Now Sony did something here that they usually do with their trailers, but this time they did it in a movie itself. Sony actually showcased bits and pieces of the characters that are gonna appear throughout the film. So they haven't happened yet, but we are given a glimpse as to what's coming. We see a shot of Miguel O'Hara explaining the multiverse to Miles. We see a shot of Gwen swinging with her mask opened, a glimpse of the intimate conversation between Miles and Gwen, and then we see a couple of shots from the previous movie as well. And then a shot of Gwen when she was being sent back to her universe by Miguel. And lastly, we see glimpses of Miles' dad and Spider-Man India's dad. Number 3. The name of Gwen's band is none other than the Mary Janes. Number 4. In this sequel, we learn that Peter Parker in Gwen's universe always knew that Gwen is Spider-Woman, which he revealed moments before dying. Now this does make sense because most of the other versions of MJ or Gwen Stacy's knew Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So in this universe, where Gwen is the superhero, it's Peter who knew it but kept it a secret. Number 5. After Peter Parker is dead, Captain Stacy believes it was Spider-Woman who killed him. And this starts bothering Gwen a lot, because she's not able to tell the truth to her father. She's not able to tell her dad, I'm Spider-Woman and I didn't kill Peter Parker. Now notice an amazing hidden detail about this. When Gwen is about to enter her home through the window, in her reflection she sees herself in Spider-Woman's costume, whereas in real life she wasn't wearing any. This indicates that she sees herself more as Spider-Woman than just Gwen, and she is mentally suffering because she is not able to disclose her alter identity to her father. Number 6. When Gwen reveals her true identity to her father, the animators have done something amazing here. Notice Captain Stacy is portrayed using 2 different colors in this scene. One side is red, which matches Gwen's color scheme, while the other side is blue. This choice of color signifies that Captain Stacy is torn between supporting his daughter and fulfilling his duties as a law-abiding police officer. And when Gwen takes a step forward, Captain Stacy then points his gun at his own daughter. And at this moment, he's depicted entirely in blue, with the red color gone. This change in color suggests that his role as a police officer has completely overshadowed his love and concern as a father. It's like this movie has 2 different stories. The animators are telling a story of their own using their own subtle methods. Number 7. Spider-Man 2099, aka Miguel O'Hara, doesn't have any Spidey sense. That's why while he was talking to Gwen, Vulture's strike from behind took him by surprise. Now a lot of people may not remember this, but if you have played the game Spider-Man Edge of Time, there Spider-Man 2099 also doesn't have any Spidey sense, although he has a similar ability called Accelerated Vision. Thanks to Cole for actually reminding me of this detail. Shoutouts to Cole. Number 8. In this movie, we now get an editor's note literally in the middle of a scene, just like it happens in the comics. For example, when Miguel is fighting the Vulture, Miguel says that Vulture has hammer space, and there we immediately get an editor's note explaining what the hammer space is. It says an infinite extra-dimensional storage area for cartoon hammers and the like. We get another editor's note when Spider-Punk says he doesn't have a Scooby-Doo about something, where the note translates it that Spider-Punk has no clue. Now as comic readers, we all know editor's notes pop up frequently on comic pages to explain something that's happening, often to point you in the right direction of another issue. Number 9. When the Renaissance Vulture smashes his head on a broken pillar, the action word "Notte Notte" appears on screen instead of "pow" or "blam." Now, notte means night in Italian, which makes sense because the Renaissance movement began in Italy in the 14th century, where this version of Vulture came from. Number 10. In the very first action sequence of this movie, Vulture destroys a balloon dog made by the famous artist Jeff Koons, which is why Sony ended up thanking Koons in the credits. Number 11. The very first time we see Miles in this movie is in this shot, but notice this giant billboard here. It says Black Lives Matter, and then there's a moment where we see a mosque as well. I love these tiny details that represent diversity diversity in a movie like this. Number 12. The first time we see the character the Spot, Miles actually tries to web him. But because Spot is a multidimensional being and has portals all over his body, so when Miles shoots his web, Spot uses the portal on his face and turns Miles' web against him. This happens once more when Miles tries to throw a punch, only to inadvertently strike himself instead. And this is directly taken from the comics, where Spider-Man throws a punch at the Spot, but the punch rebounds and hits Spider-Man himself. Number 13. When Miles does his "Let's do this for one last time" intro, notice in his art book he has written "What's my story?" with a question mark. And towards the end of the movie, Miles tells Miguel that he is tired of everyone telling him how his story is supposed to be. So the fact that Miles vocalizes this to Miguel and also writes it down in his book indicates that he genuinely ponders his own identity and purpose. And at the end of the movie, he chooses to write his own fate instead of waiting for another savior. Number 14. In Miles' introduction, he says, "I've been catching all sorts of bad guys." And there we see Miles fighting a villain called Leapfrog, and then he fights Kraven the Hunter. Number 15. In this scene where Miles is trying to apprehend Spot, notice at one point Miles' right leg sticks out of Spot's body, and then Spot turns the table by having Miles inside him completely. And the last thing Spot does is use the portal on his face to replace his face with Miles's. I'm sure the animators had a field day at work animating all these weird postures of Spot, because the possibilities are now endless. Number 16. Upon realizing that Spot not only dodges Miles' punch but turns them against him, he quickly comes up with a new plan. He decides to use the hand from the portal to grab Spot's head and lift him up, throwing him around. This shows how fast Miles can adjust to his enemies and their powers. Number 17. We see a montage of Miles designing his new suit. There he tries out various different spider logos and suit colors. But the spider symbol that he ended up using, he actually had a separate cutout piece of it from elsewhere, meaning he must have seen this symbol somewhere, liked it, and then decided to incorporate it in his new suit. Number 18. This movie tells us that Aunt May in Miles' universe has now moved to Florida. And I like how the moving truck's motto says, "Your stuff is our stuff." Number 19. Miles tells us that he has done a few endorsements as well to earn some money, one of which is a baby powder. And the billboard says, "With great powder comes great responsibility." But then this baby powder turns out to be a bad product, and Miles had to make an apology video for it. But notice this YouTube video has 69 million dislikes, and the only comment that we can read here says, "I heard it was made from actual babies though." Number 20. Miles draws a lot of paintings of the people that he loves, where Gwen of course is the main focus. But notice Miles also draws quite a lot of paintings of his Uncle Aaron. One of them even says "Rest in power" instead of "Rest in peace," indicating Miles still sees his uncle as a superhero. Number 21. When Miles enters his dorm room, there we meet his roommate Genki Lee. Now notice Genki is literally playing Marvel's PS5 Spider-Man 2. And what's interesting is that this footage from the game is still unreleased. So the animators really pulled no punches in fan service, eh? Number 22. In the parents' meeting at school, Miles admits that he missed 6 classes. But then his teacher says, and I quote, "We can still salvage this." Hearing this, Miles' father says, "I'm sorry, salvage?" Now Miles' father, aka Jefferson, is a police officer, and salvage in their line of work means apprehending and executing a suspected criminal without trial. This detail is significant because it highlights Jefferson's awareness even in a casual parents' meeting. He's the only one who raises concerns about the teacher's choice of words here. Number 23. In the LEGO universe, inside the Daily Bugle office, notice someone is reading a newspaper, and the name of the newspaper is the LEGO News, and this laptop's brand just says LEGO. Also notice in the background, a Daily Bugle headline says Doc Ock still at large, meaning this universe is an exact copy of Tobey's universe but in Legos, where Peter Parker works for the Daily Bugle under J. Jonah Jameson and Doc Ock is the main villain. Number 24. When Spot explains his origin story, he tells us that the spider that bit Miles Morales came from another universe, precisely Earth 42. And Spot even demonstrates how the spider was taken from its universe. But notice here we see that the spider was about to bite the alternate Miles, who has a braided hairstyle. This is the same alternate Miles that we see at the end of the film, who has now become the Prowler. Number 25. When Spot visits Venom's universe, aka Earth 688, there he steals a pack of gum from Mrs. Chan's store. And notice the name of the mint. It says Venomint. Number 26. And this is not really a visual detail, but something that I loved about this movie. So remember how Miles called out Spot for calling it the ATM machine? Miles pointed out that the M stands for machine already. But when Miles met Spider-Man India and called it a chai tea or naan bread, Spider-Man India called him out for making a similar mistake, because chai already means tea and naan already means bread. This goes to show that while Miles may be intelligent within his own universe, but once he ventures into the vast multiverse, he encounters individuals who are even more knowledgeable than him. It serves as a reminder that there will always be people smarter than you when exploring beyond the Spider-Verse. And that's it for part 1. This video only covers the first 45 minutes of the movie. Part 2 will cover the next 45, and then with part 3, I'm gonna give you the best video on this channel so far. In the meantime, if there's a hidden detail or an Easter egg you'd like me to know, please comment down below. I read all of your comments. Now if you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up, grab the subscribe button, and turn notifications on. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to get updates about my videos. Till then, I'll see you lads in the next one.